Hi, Matt, the etrailer. Today we're going to be talking about the etrailer cover. Now this is just going to be the cover that we're looking at right now. If you need more like the cage, because you already have the bumper mount cargo carrier, then you can actually get a kit where you can get the cage, or if you don't have none of this yet, you could actually get a full kit where you get the bumper mount carrier, the cage, and the cover. But today, let's just focus on that cover. Cover is great because it gives us full coverage on the cage and carrier from the top and the bottom. And this is going to be custom fit for the 84-inch cage, which is really nice because you'll see a lot of other bags out there that will usually go inside of your cargo carrier. The downside of those though is you're not getting the max amount of space that you get with the cargo carrier itself, and this to me just looks much better than when you compare it to a bag. So yeah, working with it is pretty easy to do too. We're going to have a zipper on it. It's going to go all the way across, and it gives us full access to our door, which is something I like. Now I have noticed a couple spots, and I can show that off a little bit more here. When we have this fully opened up, I'll remove these pins. You notice with these doors sometimes, they don't want to grant you full access without getting some resistance. It's kind of coming back at me. And we are a little bit at a slope right now too. But an easy solution to that is just use my hand, grab what I need to take it out. So really, it's not going to block you from anything you really do need. Now let's say you got something extra heavy. A lot of times I'll just use my hip to hold that door in place, reach in here, and I can grab what I need. Or if you have a friend by, they can just hold the door open for you, because we really just need to open just by a couple inches. And what's really nice about this, since we are getting the full coverage, is great for protecting it from rain or any type of wet environment. So today we got a little bit of forecast for rain, so I don't have to worry about my generator getting wet or any other sensitive items. And in here you'll notice, like I said earlier, we do have a bottom section. And this is great because when we're driving down the road, we don't have to worry about any of that road grime coming up and drenching the bottom of our gear. I actually had the smaller cargo carrier for your hitch mounted accessories, and I tested that with a hose, so I was spraying it all over the top, the sides, underneath, and that held up really well. And this is going to be the same exact design, doing the same thing. So I have tested it, and it does do a great job at keeping water out of here. And this is going to be a pretty large carrier, and with this having the cover on top of it, you won't be able to see through it. So you won't be able to see your license plate or your lights in most cases. So what we actually have built in here is going to be a license plate and relocator kit. So you'll notice these zippers. If I undo these, that'll let those relocator kits for your lights and your license plate be visible so you can be safe on the road. Now, something to keep in mind is just making sure you get the right one for you, because again, this is going to be for your 84-inch large cage, whether that be the etrailer one or one that is an equivalent size to this. And it's important that you do have the cage as well, because if you don't, it's not going to work. But if you're still unsure if this is going to be the right fit for you and your carrier, you can just let us know here at eTrailer, ask us any questions if you have them, or even just leave a comment so we can answer it for you. Now, when it comes to getting this installed, it's a pretty simple process. The biggest thing is making sure you do everything in the right order, you don't miss any of those straps, but we covered that in the video today. So let's check it out now. So the place I like to start with for the installation of this is to start with the bottom piece. This is going to be much smaller than the top piece, and we want to make sure it's going to be in the right orientation. So you'll notice the inside is going to be this more glossy finish. The outside is going to be this more matte finish. Once we've done that, I can start putting it in here, just kind of matching it up to the contours of the cage. We're just going to make sure this is fully spread out inside of here. Now that this is kind of roughly in place, we're going to go underneath now so we can hold this into place. There's going to be these longer straps. They might be kind of bound up all over the place. What we want to do is make sure we start at the very beginning and wrap around all these railings here, making sure it's relatively not tangled up. Reach across. Same thing for the female end. Make sure it's on the very outside and connect them like that. Now you're going to have a bunch of other straps underneath, so we're going to go across and make sure they're all connected. With all those straps underneath secured, we'll come up top. And you're going to have a bunch of these smaller straps. They're going to have hook and loops on them. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to wrap this around the bottom rung here, underneath the cage, pass it through. On the other side, you're going to have this little clip. Make sure it passes right through the center of that. And we'll pass underneath that cage once more. You can see how that's passing through now. And then secure it down. Now there's going to be a bunch of these, so make sure you just take your time with this and find them all. Let's move over to the top piece. And we want to make sure when we put this on, it's in the right orientation. So again, mat side facing out. And we want to make sure that the zipper, you can see the etrailer logo on the front of it too, is going to be on the front side. So once we've double checked that, we can just start putting it on. And this is going to be fairly large, so it might be kind of difficult if you're doing it by yourself, but it's definitely still doable. What I'll do typically is just lay it up top and make sure like everything's facing the right direction, and then we'll just start with one side and get it lined up. Once we get that one side lined up, then we're going to do the same on the other side. We're just going to pull it down little by little on either side. You don't want to pull it too much on one side because it's going to get caught and you won't want to pull it down fully. We want to make sure we're getting to the very top of this, so I'm going to keep going until it feels snug. So with the cover completely on, what we're going to do is we're going to find a couple of straps inside of here. I'll show you where they're at. They're going to be on this front side. I've already unzipped that opening so we can see it better. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to go on this same rung we did earlier to secure this down. Going through it, back through that clip. There are going to be just a couple on the very front of it. Make sure you get them all secured down. Once we're done with that, we're going to go underneath. You're going to notice there's a lot of different straps, so we're going to keep it simple. What we're going to do is just connect the ones to begin with that are going in this direction. So we're going to start from one side and just go over to the back side and make sure all those straps will pull through, because sometimes they can get caught up there. I'm going to reach across, secure these together, tighten up just a little bit. Not too tight yet. We can adjust it later on. And then just go down that line. We're going to go to the other side. One side should have these extra long straps, and there should be two of them. And they're going to probably not be lengthened enough to reach all the way across, so we're just going to loosen that up a bit until it does. With that loosened up now, I want to reach over here and we want to make sure we're connecting to the correct one. So if this strap is closer to the front side, make sure you connect it to the other one closer to the front side. Just like that, and tighten up some. Same thing for the one on the inner side. We have all the straps secured down now, and this is going to be a good point just to see how the zipper is going to close on this. If it does, you can tighten things down a little bit more. You don't want to over tighten these because it'll cause too much strain on where that door is and it won't zip right. And you'll notice a lot of these straps are just kind of hanging out here. We are going to have some little loops on these straps so you can even tuck them up if you want a cleaner look on the bottom of this. But that pretty much does it for the installation of the cover. If you guys have any other questions, let us know here at eTrailer. And again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.